Hello to all my dear friends of Turkish series stars. It's always a joy to have you here, and I truly hope your day is going beautifully. Today I'm bringing you something that feels tender, sincere, and loaded with the kind of emotion that lingers long after the last note fades. We're about to dive into a moment that has stirred hearts across the fandom and reminded everyone that love can be both intimate and spectacular when it's shared with honesty. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to Turkish series stars and tap the notification bell so you never miss our latest updates. We adore having you as part of this community. Now, let's get into a story that features two artists many of you already admire, and if they're new to you, I promise this is the perfect way to get to know them. The headline today is simple, but the feelings behind it are anything but. Barış Baktaş dedicates a song to Yağmur Yüksel, a surprise that left everyone breathless. That single sentence has set off waves of joy and wonder, and believe me, excitement is the thread tying it all together. We'll unpack how it happened, why it resonates so strongly, and how it became one of those unforgettable moments fans will be talking about for a long time. So who are Barış and Yağmur for those discovering them now? Barış Baktaş stands out as a performer with a magnetic presence, a voice that can carry both strength and hurt, and a knack for lyrics that slip under your skin in the gentlest way. He's the kind of artist who lets the emotional truth lead, and the audience follows. And Yağmur Yüksel, well, she's that dazzling combination of warmth and talent, a television and acting favorite whose charisma seems to brighten any room she enters. People admire her poise, her grounded kindness, and the way she brings characters to life, making viewers feel like they've known her forever. Over time, the connection between Barış and Yağmur has become a conversational spark among fans, looks exchanged during interviews, quiet support at premieres, playful banter that suggests understanding deeper than words. Admirers have sensed something tender there, and this latest gesture set that intuition aflame. Here's what happened. In a moment as public as it was personal, Barış dedicated a song to Yağmur. Not just any song, but a piece that felt crafted with her in mind, like a secret he'd been shaping into melody until the time was right to share it. Picture the scene, the stage lights softening, the audience quieting in that collective hush when they realize something special is coming, the band easing into a new progression that feels unfamiliar yet instantly intimate. Then Barış steps to the mic and, with a smile that holds a hint of nerves, says her name. The dedication is gentle, unforced, but potent, like the kind of confession that doesn't need many words because its truth is unmistakable. The surprise? It was huge. It's not every day a performer of Barış's caliber uses his art to publicly direct affection with such clarity. Fans at the venue felt it first, the sudden tingle of awareness, the warmth spreading through the crowd, and then social media ignited. Within minutes clips were everywhere, accompanied by comments full of love and astonishment, the gasp when the dedication lands, the chorus that follows, the camera catching Yağmur in the audience with her hand pressed lightly to her chest, eyes shining. What people said afterward makes one thing clear: this wasn't just about headlines. It was about courage and honesty, about choosing a moment and making it matter. The lyrics, as shared by those who were close enough to catch them word for word, were tender without being saccharine, detailed without losing their grace. The song seemed to speak of steady companionship through long days on set, quiet support offered when no one else was looking, and admiration that stays respectful even as it deepens. Listeners described images rising from the melody, late-night rehearsals, a shared joke to ease a heavy day, a voice note sent at a time when reassurance mattered most. It felt like a portrait painted in sound, a way to say what talking around the subject never quite captures. Music does that, doesn't it? It goes where plain conversation hesitates. A chord change can express longing that would sound awkward if spoken. A simple turn of phrase can hold more truth than a page of explanations. And here, Barış took that language and made it a bridge, from him to Yağmur, from them to everyone who cares about them, and from art to life in the most human way. Some gestures are small, this one was expansive, and it gently invited the public in. Of course, the impact didn't stop at the edge of the stage. In a world that often measures value by awards and numbers, seeing recognized artists show their vulnerable side feels like a breath of fresh air. It reminds us that beyond schedules and scripts, they are people that kind of flawed, hopeful people who find ways to care for each other and are unafraid to honor that care. A public dedication is an intimate act reimagined as a shared experience, turning a private feeling into a collective celebration of connection. It asks us to look up from the rush and remember what we're all here for: love, loyalty, and the courage to show up for one another. Speculation about the exact nature of Barış and Yağmur's bond has flickered for a while, fueled by on-screen chemistry and off-screen ease. But this dedication took the conversation deeper. It didn't need labels to carry weight, it simply said, "Here is someone who inspires me, who steadies me, who deserves a song." That choice resonated not because of drama, but because of sincerity. Fans who have rooted for them felt affirmed. Those who were unsure felt invited to see the goodness in the gesture. And people who just love stories about kindness found themselves moved in ways they didn't expect. Social media filled with messages that read like handwritten notes, even on glowing screens. "What a beautiful tribute. I can't stop crying," wrote one fan. Another said, "They make each other better, that's obvious. This song proves it." Some marveled at how the melody seemed to trace the rhythm of their public journey, while others simply thanked Barış for putting something gentle into a noisy world. The result was a wave of collective feeling that didn't tear down or pry, it lifted up. The conversation naturally turned to inspiration. Where did Barış find the spark? Was it in the way Yağmur respects her craft, or in her patience when long days blur together? Perhaps it was in her laugh after a scene finally clicks, or her steadiness when pressures mount. Maybe it was in the quiet rituals they share: morning coffee on location, encouraging words before a premiere, a promise to leave work at the door and just be present. Inspiration rarely arrives in grand packages, it collects gently, stored in the details of ordinary kindness, until one day it overflows into a song. And the reach of this moment wasn't limited to longtime fans. People who rarely follow entertainment stories found themselves enchanted by the clarity of the gesture. In a time when information moves at lightning speed and attention is a fragile thing, a sincere act still cuts through. The dedication felt like a pause button, a reminder that human beings crave meaning more than noise. It didn't hurt either, that the music was beautiful, a melody that rose and fell like a heartbeat, lyrics that landed softly but stayed. For Barış, this wasn't only a declaration, it became a highlight in his artistic arc. For Yağmur, it carved out a memory that will likely travel with her for a lifetime. You can already picture the interview years from now, when someone asks about a turning point that caught her by surprise, and she smiles before answering. That's what moments like this become, stories that anchor a life and a career, evidence that the best art often comes from a place of deep care. And what can we, as watchers and well-wishers, take from all of this? First, that expressing affection is not weakness, it's a practice in bravery. How many of us avoid saying what we feel because we worry it will be too much, or not enough, or poorly timed? Then someone steps up and creates a moment like this, and we remember that love needs air and light to thrive. Second, art remains our most faithful translator. Whether it's a song, a painting, or a few lines scribbled in a notebook, creativity lets us say the unsayable. And finally, even amid the hectic swirl of public life, tenderness still matters, and it matters publicly, not just behind closed doors. As for Yağmur's reaction, audiences didn't need captions to read it. The camera found her during the chorus, eyes glistening, a small smile resisting the urge to turn into full-on tears. There's a kind of gratitude that doesn't need big gestures, it shines right through the face. She stood when the song ended, and the applause swelled around her like a protective tide. You could tell she was moved, not by spectacle, but by understanding, that someone had seen her clearly and honored that truth in front of everyone. When the final chord faded, the room didn't rush to fill the silence. For a heartbeat, everyone simply felt. Then the noise returned, cheers, whistles, the hum of voices trying to place what they'd just witnessed. Barış looked relieved and joyful, the way people do when they've told the truth and been met with kindness. He didn't over-explain. He didn't need to. The song had done its work. In the hours that followed, clips were edited, captions written, and timelines transformed into mosaics of appreciation. Fans traded favorite lines, debated which moment made their chest tighten most, and sent each other encouragement disguised as commentary. If they can be brave, maybe we can too. It's interesting how a single artistic choice can ripple outward, turning into countless small acts of courage in other lives. And yes, there were those who asked practical questions. Will the track be released officially? Was it written recently or shaped over time? Did Yağmur know it was coming? The answers were less important than the feeling, but they added texture. Rumor has it the melody had lived in Barış's voice notes for a while, accumulating meaning with each passing day, waiting for the right night, the right audience, the right breath before speaking her name. When people look back at this week in entertainment, they might call it the moment when a rumor became a resonance. Not because a relationship status changed on a screen, but because two people allowed themselves to be seen, and because the seeing was done with care. That's what made it unforgettable. Not the stage, not the lights, not the numbers, just the truth, delivered tenderly. To bring all this warmth into focus, Barış created something rare by dedicating a song to Yağmur, and in doing so he gave fans a memory to hold. The gesture was simple, but the emotion was layered, and it landed exactly where it needed to. It reminded everyone that art can be a gift we share, not just a performance we consume, and that affection, voiced clearly, has a way of making people braver in their own lives. If this story touched you, if you felt your chest loosen a bit or found yourself remembering someone who deserves to hear how much they mean to you, don't forget to like this video and help it reach those who might need a gentle nudge today. Your support keeps Turkish series stars thriving, and we are so grateful for it. I'd also love to hear from you. What did you think of Barış's dedication? Do you see it as courage? Are you inspired by public displays of affection when they're done with respect and heart? Tell me everything in the comments. I read them all, and your thoughts make this space feel alive. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Turkish series stars. It's as simple as tapping the button and turning on notifications so you never miss moments like this. Share this video with friends who love Barış and Yağmur, or with anyone who believes art is at its best when it brings people together. Thank you for spending this time with me today. What a joy to share news that leaves us a little softer and a little braver. I'll see you in the next video. Take good care of yourselves, and until next time, goodbye.